This is the video review of
Fist of Jesus.
Fist of Jesus is a beat 'em up where you play as Jesus and Judas battling against hordes of zombies. It's in the style of the older beat 'em ups, but with just better art. It is a mobile port, so the gameplay is limited somewhat, and I'll explain that a little later. Fist of Jesus is a fun beat 'em up. It has a map like that of Mario Bros. 3 that you traverse around to the different levels. There are a ton of different stages to complete in. They do recycle some of them, but they don't seem the same. They either end up changing the type of zombies that you fight, or the weapons that you're given, or the goals that you have to complete in order to beat the stage. Now, with that said, each stage has a certain set of goals that you have to accomplish before you can actually quote-unquote beat it. Some are score X amount of points, and kill 50 zombies, or kill 50 zombies and get 10 punishments, or etc. They change, and most aren't that hard to complete. I haven't found most of them hard to complete really on the first try. Sometimes they do take 2 or 3 tries, but it's pretty fun to do so. Each stage has a grade at the end, so depending on how well you did, you get 1, 2, or 3 stars. As it is a mobile game, this is probably this is how you unlock more levels to fight in or complete in. And being that it's a mobile game, I'm guessing this is how they have that paid wall that you have to, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it, so I'm going to have to spend a couple bucks in order to get it. Fist of Jesus does have a variety of zombie types. There are smaller zombies, larger ones, and even a few bosses. The lesser zombies have different abilities, either from shooting guns, melee, chains they can hit you with, or even suiciding and exploding. The larger ones are pretty much all the same, just like this guy here. He just has a different skin, but they have the same moves. You can see there's a shield zombie where he blocks the front, so you have to go behind him. That zombie there had a gun, so he shoots at you. See, these are the two larger zombies. They do the same move, they just have different hats on, so it's really not that much of a difference. The large zombies are slow and pretty easy to avoid, but when it's mixed up with a bunch of the different zombies on the stage, which is pretty fun, it is fun, it's hard to know what's going on, and that's where you're going to die pretty much. The only problem I do have with the larger zombies that these guys, their hitbox is abnormally large if you're above them, but if you're below them, it's almost impossible for them to hit you. Meaning if you are above them but not on the same plane as them, you're going to get hit if you're above them. If you're below them, you're fine. The bosses do feel cheap in their attacks, spamming to some sorts or even just invulnerability. I've pretty much concluded that the last boss is literally impossible without hours, even days of grinding, and there is grinding in this game. The weapons in the game are fun and really change the tide of the battle. You can have guns, bats, crosses, and you can even throw fish as weapons. There are also two fighters, as I said earlier. There's Jesus and Judas. Each has their own special moves and attributes. You've seen previously that Judas has the stars that drop down. Right now, he is invulnerable. And he has another one where he gets like a Kamehameha. And you can see in the top right that it's filling up. The electric is filling up. And that's going to show you when you have your full power. And here's Jesus. You can see that all 3 of his moves are spent. So you're going to have to wait for that to actually fill up. Now, you can level each character up with money that you get by completing the levels, or money that you get within each level by killing zombies. And as a mobile game, I guess this is where people could buy more money in game to get further and make it a lot easier. But on the computer, I don't feel that there's a need for it. There also is a multi-day login bonus, so make sure that you check in each day, at least for a week, to get all of the bonuses. Like I said, both Jesus and Judas have their own special abilities, and each one is actually really awesome. Jesus is able to make some bread, which is probably his best move. That's really it. He gets like an AoE aura that you can blast out. You would think Jesus is awesome, but there's his bread making. That's it. He makes some walls of fire, which is pretty rad, but that's really it too. The humor in this in the game dies off pretty quickly. After you play a few minutes, the novelty will wear off. However, the first impression when you rip someone's heart out as Jesus is pretty amazing. The game is fun itself, but the controls can be troublesome. Being that it is a mobile port, I think this is the problem. There are only really a few buttons in the game. There's a punch, and then you have a button for each one of the special attacks. The controller feels good, but moving around and hitting some enemies can be a problem. It could be a lot tighter, but as it is, it's still playable and still enjoyable, but could just be a lot better. Overall, the game is fun and does have some problems that, like I said earlier and throughout the review, that porting over from a mobile device to a PC that they didn't put much time into. I think if they just spent a little more time on the PC release, this could have been a great game, but as it is, it's just somewhat good. Only being able to punch and use your super abilities gets tedious after a while. The stages are fun, and since they only last maybe 1 to 3 minutes, it's not so noticeable that the game can be boring. And that since you're fighting it is a lot of fun, but it does get boring. The bosses can seem cheap, as in they go invulnerable, or there just is no way for you to hit them, but they always seem to end up hitting you. Some minor problems, but still a game worth checking out if it's in the bargain bin for sure. If you like beat 'em ups that are a bit on the lighter side of gameplay, this is a fun, actually a fantastic game. If you liked it on the mobile, I suggest picking it up on the PC, as any game is better with a controller and a larger screen. Again, this is the video game review of Fist of Jesus on PC Steam.